Gridiron Grinder! Hut hut hike!
All right, we are rolling. It is Friday night, Gridiron Grinder time. I am Ryan. With me, as always, is my buddy James. Just a couple of dudes hanging out. We're both sipping on some whiskey tonight, and we're talking about what's going on in the NFL. This is episode 223 of Gridiron Grinder. We are gonna cut the shit this week. We're bailing on name that stadium. We're bailing on question of the week. We're just gonna do a quick little couple highlights of the news, and then just jump straight into the main event, which is going to be the NFC free agent matchmaking. James, with all that being said, my man, whenever you're ready, why don't you hit us up with the highlights from the news that you're seeing, bud?
All right. So I don't remember if we talked about it last week. Don't remember when it happened, but Debo was traded to the Commanders
For peanuts, yep.
for peanuts. So like, what was it, a fourth round pick or something?
I think it was a fifth round pick, dude.
Yeah,
Maybe
it
it
was
was a fourth, but I thought it was a fifth.
fifth round pick. You're right. It was a fifth round pick for Debo, which is nothing. Which is
Just giving
great
him
for
away, man.
Washington. Just gave him away. Also, recently, like within the last hour, it broke that the Raiders traded for Geno Smith. Did I say third round pick
Yeah,
for that?
another
Yeah,
freaking steal, dude.
yeah. I mean, the caveat is Geno Smith only has 1 year left on his contract, and the Raiders are picking up all 31 million.
Still, Pete Carroll getting his former quarterback
Mm-hmm.
and, having that comfort with his guy running the offense for him. I think that was a really smart move for the Raiders, man.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you 100% there. I like at first like I was shocked by it, but it makes sense from a Raiders standpoint. I don't know why the fuck Seattle was so willing to get rid of him because he did nothing. He did nothing but good things for them last what 2 3 years.
Yeah, it's weird, man, because this past year there were rumors that the new regime, McDonald and company, just weren't big fans of Geno, and so I guess they're just tearing off the Band-Aid, and you know maybe they're going to make a play for Darnold, maybe they're going to see if Sam Howell stepped up and developed in his year on the bench, or who knows, man. But they're obviously going a different direction.
Yeah, and also with Seattle, they're looking to trade DK.
I saw that, man. Yeah, well, I guess he asked for a trade, right? He has to be out.
Yeah, and they granted him ability to
Yeah, he'll have suitors.
yeah, and couple well, and then the Thuney trade. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah,
I,
Tooney to the Bears. That was another like mid or late round pick. It was
yeah,
another steal of a deal, man.
yeah, and then a couple cuts. Harold Landry was cut by the Titans.
hmm
Um, Big
Jared
cut.
Allen by the Commanders.
Jared Allen by the Commanders. But
Oh yeah, Joey Bosa
Joey
got
Bosa
cut
was
by the
cut by the
Chargers. Yeah,
Chargers, which we t- we I don't we kind
he
you
just
and I
hurt a lot, man. That's the problem.
yeah, exactly.
He gets a lot of
Um,
money and he's missing a lot of games.
yeah, but still, like,
Yeah, when he
it's
plays, he's
crazy.
good, really good, but he just barely plays.
I'm trying to glance through who else was cut. Kind of wanted to put a bow on the franchise tag. We ended up with two players tagged: Trey Smith in Kansas City and T Higgins in Cincinnati, which nailed it on the head. I was going to say one, but I changed it to two, and looks like I was 100% right.
Still very
Uh,
few.
Still very few. I'm sure there were like other cuts that like I'm just not seeing. Like it's been some of them are surprising. Um, so on the Miles Garrett side, Miles Garrett wanting I'm reading that the owner, what's his face? Jimmy Haslam
denied him a meeting.
Denied him a meeting. I don't know if it was before the trade request, after the trade request, but
After the request, he's saying he's got to go through the GM.
yeah, he has to talk instead. He directed him to speak with the general manager instead, which, I mean, somebody like Garrett, like, you're the owner of the team, you give him the respect, and like,
If he is your franchise, like, big time guy, and you're adamant on keeping him on the team, you would think that you would have a conversation with him to like reiterate that to him. That's,
yeah,
hey, I don't want to trade you. You're a big part of this team. I get it, you want out, but we need you.
yeah, exactly. And I had read something, and I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. If not, um, that basically he kind of talked about what his trade request was,
Okay.
or why he asked for the trade request, and it was more. Here it is. So his trade request, blah 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 blah. Where is it? It was more than frustration about the QB and organization of it. Like, what I'm reading is like, if he's not traded, he might just walk away. Blah 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 blah. He wants to win a Super Bowl. Blah, blah.
All right, I got a couple of the other releases. Gardner Minshew, Tyler Lockett, Darius Slay was a big one. And and then Christian Kirk traded to Houston for a seventh round pick. The Bengals granted Trey Hendrickson permission to seek a trade. Yeah, Myles Garrett, man, that's tough, dude. Oh my gosh, the Rams traded Jonah Jackson to the Bears for a sixth round pick.
I remember that now.
The Bears are stacking up that offensive line, which, we talked about they needed to do that.
So Garrett is overly frustrated with just about everything and everyone connected to the team.
Yeah, he doesn't see them having a shot in hell to get to a Super Bowl, and that's what he wants.
Yeah, and
oh, the Jets released Devontae Adams too. That was a big one.
Oh yeah, but we talked about that.
Yeah, everybody knew that one was coming.
That one was coming. A couple extensions. Saquon got a huge extension.
Saquon, Osa Odigizabua, however you say, in Dallas, and then Zach Vaughn got his extension, and who was the other one? Max Crosby got a nice extension.
Yeah, so after he could deal Barkley, blah blah blah. So he got a 2-year, $41.2 million extension, made him the highest paid running back in the league, which $20 million a year for a running back, that's big time in the running back market.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was a pretty important part of them making that Super Bowl run.
Yeah. But that's about all that I had on the news. And Michael Gallup's trying to come back to the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I thought his, walking away from the game was kind of premature. He seemed pretty young. So he's probably still got something left in the tank as long as he's been staying in shape.
He's 29.
Yeah. For a wide receiver, that's young, man.
Yeah, so I'm thinking he just wasn't happy with where he was slated on their depth chart.
Okay.
Because he was competing with to be the number 3 receiver there.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of fell out of favor.
Yeah, and And the Raiders are going to release their center at the start of the new league year, according to sources.
Okay.
But they drafted somebody last year. Yeah, last year. I think it was last year. No, 2020. Yeah, 2024. Jackson Powers Johnson.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, he was a highly rated guy.
Yeah, highly rated. Who they're gonna put him in at center.
Okay.
That's about it.
Well, we're 10 minutes in. That gives us plenty of time for our main event, my man. And so when you're ready, we'll pull up our spreadsheet. We'll pull up the salary cap information, the team needs, all that fun stuff, and we'll pick it up with the Arizona Cardinals, dude.
All right. So the Arizona Cardinals right now, their needs listed on this. Oh, Evan Ingram was released.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, according to whoever, I forget who the writer of this article is now. Barnwell?
You're talking about the team needs, Shad Reuter?
Reuter. Couldn't remember if it was Barnwell or Reuter. And so it's team needs edge, defensive tackle, wide receiver, guard, offensive tackle. I agree with edge. I agree defensive line, looking at who they're losing. Like they're losing like all their defensive linemen basically, besides the guy they drafted a couple of years ago. No, he was offensive. Their offensive line left a little bit to be desired last year, so I could say offensive line. So I'd say D-line, O-line, and I agree with wide receiver too.
Yeah, let's do that. The top three gives us some flexibility. Yeah, because they got Marvin Harrison Jr., but that's about it.
Yeah, and they have approximately $78 million in cap space.
Man, they need a cornerback too. All they got is Murphy Bunting, but that's okay. They got a lot of cap space.
I thought they had somebody else.
No, they got Budda Baker at safety and Jalen Thompson at safety.
I think I was thinking Budda Baker.
Okay, but yeah, their top cornerback is Sean Murphy Bunting, and I like him, but honestly, I think on a good team, he's a number 2.
Yeah. Okay.
So if we're looking at, I mean, honestly, they can do a lot defensively. They could hit all 3 of these, right? If they really wanted to.
They could.
And then it gives them ultimate flexibility in the draft to just go best available.
So I think offensive line wise, they'd be looking at a left guard or a right tackle, because they just drafted I think both their right guard and left tackle were drafted within the last 3 years.
Yeah, and so it looks like pretty much everybody at tackle is a left tackle, except maybe Jedrick Wills. Did he play right tackle for Cleveland?
No, they had Kevin Beecham playing right tackle.
Oh, I thought you were saying I thought you were saying Arizona would be looking for a right tackle.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so hypothetically, they could go after Jedrick Wills, the guy leaving Cleveland, but the rest of the tackles in free agency are left tackle guys. So if they were going to go after a tackle, it'd be Jedrick Wills. If they were going to go after a guard, they got a lot of options.
Yeah, so guard, they have the options. I think, See, I really like what Mount Becton did in Philly last year with I believe he played left guard in Philly last year. I thought he had a good year, but I don't know. Based on his history, I don't know if I'd go after him.
Yeah, and I think they dig him as a run blocking guy, you know.
Yeah.
And so is Arizona going for run blocking or pass blocking? I mean, everything revolves around Kyler, but they do run the ball a decent amount. Like,
So
James Conner, he's had some good years.
if I was Arizona, I'd go after run blocking because Kyler is elusive enough to in the pass blocking. You kind of not saying
Yeah,
you
let him let
minimal,
him
but
make his own magic. Yeah.
yeah, let them.
All
But
right.
I
So
my
what are you thinking? You want to plug in Becton?
well, my concern with Becton is what I'm trying to figure out is because he didn't really do that well with the Jets, but then when he signed with Philly last year, but was that the running back doing it more and
Or
he
just his
benefited from that,
supporting
or his
cast, if you're next to a bunch of all
yeah
pros.
yeah, and that's where my concern with him is. I'm gonna say no. I don't think they would go after Becton, but I don't know who. I could slate Becton in there.
Well, let's just look at some of the other guys here for a minute. Would they like to take Javon Hargrave away from the 49ers at defensive tackle? I could see something like that, and it helps them beef up their defensive line a little bit. You're getting a veteran defensive tackle, taking it away from one of your rivals. Osa's gone. He re-signed with Dallas. Milton
Yeah,
Williams is going to cost them a shitload if they wanted him.
I could see that too.
I think we should plug in Hargrave for these guys.
Okay, I can get with
But
that.
we also got to get some offensive linemen here because I got to believe they're going to get somebody. It's just a matter of who makes the most sense.
Let's look at wide receiver real quick. I don't.
Sure. Yeah, who could you pair with Marvin Harrison Jr.? So you're looking at a guy that all he's got to be is a number two. T. Higgins is gone. I don't know, Godwin, man, I keep hearing Tampa Bay is going to try hard to get him back. I mean, I could see them maybe going after Cooper or Diggs, but it would, they wouldn't want to bring in a guy that's going to steal Harrison Jr.'s thunder, right? And so maybe
Yeah,
they're looking at one of these other guys, like Mike Williams being a possession guy, or I don't know,
I,
man.
yeah. It's hard. I don't like the wide receiver free agents.
No, it's
Like
just a crap list.
if you're looking at like a number two, like you're looking, well, Diggs and Cooper, they're gonna take away the limelight from their star.
Yeah, they got to be on a team where the one is confident that they're the one. And I'm
Yeah.
sure Harrison Jr. probably thinks that, but you don't want to give him any doubt.
Well, see, I wouldn't say that he'd be confident that he's the one if you bring in like a Cooper or a Diggs because of the fact that he did at times have struggles.
Yeah, I mean, he was a rookie, but and then they wouldn't want to bring back Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
Um, so Slayton is a kind of a deep threat guy.
But so is
Deami
Harrison. So
Deami Brown, kind of like a 1 year wonder. I mean, he's been around a little while, but like, 1 year wonder that kind of boosted him up on the board in free agency. I like Mike Williams, but man, he struggled last year coming off of that injury really bad, like bad enough that he got traded midseason. So um, Elijah Moore, not bad, but where did he come from? He came from the Jets to Cleveland, I think. So yeah, okay. So there's not like, I don't know. I don't see them wanting to bring in Keenan Allen or Hopkins. I do like Josh Palmer. I think he's like one of the better guys, even though he's at the bottom of the list here. And then Deontay Johnson, I think, is a little checkered for them. It's like they would want somebody more reliable than that. So I don't know.
I could see Elijah Moore, really.
Let's plug him in. Let's plug him in.
Like, I'm not sold on it, but he is.
Yeah.
Wherever he's going, he's going to be the number 2. It's about 600 yards a season.
Yeah, he's an obvious 2. He's not anything more than that. All right, so then at offensive line, I don't think they're going tackle because they got Beecham and Paris Johnson Jr. And they got Jonah Williams. So if anything, they'd be going for a guard.
I'll go back to Mackay.
Yeah, we can plug him in. What the heck? We can plug him in more than one spot. It just means that these are targets.
Yeah.
And they got the cap space, so that makes sense. We plug in 3 guys, and we'll see what they do with their money, but that at least would free them up for the draft. All right, that takes us to the Falcons, bud.
All right, so the Falcons need edge, safety, cornerback, center, wide receiver. We say this every year. Edge is something you can just write in for the Falcons.
Oh my gosh, and their cap is fucked.
They're 5.2 million over.
Yeah, they've never. You're right. They've never been able to figure out the edge thing. I mean, it's just so bad. But all right, so edge for sure. Safety, man, did they? Are Simmons and what's his face leaving? Because they had Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
And I know both those guys are now like kind of in decline phase, but if they're under contract, man, I wouldn't put safety as a need. Quarterback for sure, because they have a 1, but that's it. And the crazy thing is they've got a ton of guys on lineups that look like they could be 2s, but like nobody has really stepped up to be a serviceable 2.
Since I don't want to go back, which was their other cornerback? It was Bates and Simmons?
Oh, for safety, Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons.
So it looks like Bates is under contract.
Okay. Justin Simmons
is listed as a dead cap hit.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could say safety's a need then. So let's just do this. Edge, defensive back, because it could be a safety or a cornerback. And then you've got center or wide receiver. I would probably say wide receiver is the more important need for them. They are losing Dahlman, though.
I would say center is the more need because Drake London.
Protect the run quarterback.
Yeah, and Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and Ray McLeod had decent years last year.
Oh yeah, that's true. No, that's true. They were not bad, yeah. And they do still have what's his face Pitts at tight end, even though he always underperforms.
Yeah.
I mean, from everything I'm hearing, they're fine with letting Dahlman walk, and I think it's a money thing, right? Because they're 5.3 over. I mean, with that being the case, I don't know, dude. I mean, I'm just trying to think of who they could even go after. They got to go after like one of the lower rated safeties or one of the lower rated
I was just going to chalk them up
lower rated edge guys.
I was just going to chalk them up as need to find money to use.
Yeah. Yeah, just going to have to look for the draft.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that. No cap space. They got to look to the draft.
All right, and
And
then we
maybe
have
they'll find a way to sneak in one of these like lower ranked guys, but I think it's going to be a hard pressed kind of thing for them.
the Panthers who need, according to the article, edge, tackle, defensive tackle, wide receiver, center, quarterback.
Okay, and where are they at with cap space?
27 million approximately in cap space. I would slate QB as a need, as probably their number one.
QB.
Although, yeah,
I think they're finally happy with what they saw out of Bryce Young at the end of last year, man.
I just don't trust it. I don't trust it
I
at
don't
all.
either, but I think that there was some progression to lead you to believe you give the guy one more year. And if the wheels fall off, then you're drafting a quarterback.
Okay, you sold me. So then that leaves edge, tackle, wide receiver, center. So defensive line.
I think they could definitely use a wide receiver.
So what do you want to do? Wide receiver, D line, center.
I'm just going through their lineups here. They've got Austin Corbett at center. He's not horrible. Maybe he was leaving or something. Um, I mean, honestly, their offensive line is pretty good unless a bunch of these guys were bailing out. Defensive tackle is definitely an issue. Well, see, I guess it's tough because Derek Brown, I thought, played defensive tackle, but lineups has him as a defensive end.
Okay, so Austin Corbett, this year is a void year for him, so he
Okay, so
counts into
he's
the
out.
cap,
Yeah.
but he's out. Um, Outside of that, it looks like most of their offensive line is still under contract.
I go wide receiver as their top need because you got to support Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
Get him a weapon. Um, and then if you really want to, you go maybe center to protect him, and then you go defensive line, whichever way you want to go, edge or tackle.
I like that. I initially thought them reversed, but I didn't realize that they actually don't have a center.
Yeah, so
So
I mean, you could prioritize that. I just want to see them give the dude a receiving weapon, right? Because they're rocking Thielen, David Moore, Xavier Legette. I know Jalen Coker kind of stepped up as a rookie last year, but man, they could really have something more stable in there.
yeah, so if you're looking at wide receiver, you're looking at a guy that you think can be a number one. I think there's really only 3 people on the list that could be potentially a number one.
Sure.
I don't think Godwin's going anywhere.
No, they would love to snipe him away from Tampa Bay, I'm sure, though.
Yeah. Cooper and Diggs, I think they're at the point in their career where they're looking for a better situation than Carolina. So you're gonna have to overpay.
I think Diggs could get it. I think Cooper's gonna have to settle for something. Dude, Cooper's been on so many teams. I think that he's gonna realize, unless he catches lightning in a bottle, he's going to probably end up on a team like Carolina that's going to say, hey, we're going to pay you. We're probably not making the Super Bowl, but we're going to pay you. And you're just going to be here for a year and then you're going to go somewhere else.
But so I was, but then on my thought, if you look at it, like you look at the centers available,
Yeah. I could see them going after, I don't know if they'd go after Dahlman. But I could see them going after Josh Myers or Ryan Kelly, more value.
That's where I was looking with Josh Myers.
Let's plug him in. I don't
I
know,
think
man.
that's
Pick a wide receiver. Marquise Brown.
so. I really liked your. I don't think Marquise Brown can be a number one.
No,
And that's
I think that they'd be, in this scenario, they'd be hoping Leggett steps up because he was
I
the
was
higher draft pick guy. They'd be hoping he can step up, and then you give him some guys around him so there's some options for Bryce Young.
I was going more. I You sold me on the Amari Cooper argument.
Let's do it. Let's do Cooper. I think it could happen, man. And then honestly, I don't know, we can plug in a defensive lineman, but I think it's got to be a lower ranking guy.
Yeah, I'm hard pressed on like some of these lower ranking guys to like say, oh yes, that person or that person. Like would we trust that person?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be like Sebastian Joseph Day or Chauncey Golston, it's like, okay, we're just going to plug you in because we're plugging you in,
Yeah, and
you know.
I don't think they're good enough to be listed as a target.
Okay. Then we just leave them at these two.
All right, then we got the Bears. The Bears, who, according to Reuters, need. So they just got offensive tackle. I think they're covered there. So they need a guard, a
No.
center.
Tooney's a guard, man.
Why was I thinking he was a tackle?
They had him play left tackle because
Ah,
of injury, but he's a left guard.
that's right. You're correct. I was wrong. I just was remembering him playing left tackle.
Yeah, no, and I gotta believe Chicago's gonna have him play guard because he struggled at left tackle. He's like an all pro at left guard. And then they just traded for Jonah Jackson, which I'm guessing he'll play right guard. So they're set on guard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean you could say center or tackle. So we could still just say offensive line, edge, and wide receiver.
Works for me.
And they've got some space. Well, I guess after the Tooney thing and the Jonah Jackson thing, that space is coming down.
And that's what I wanted to check because
Yeah, they were at 48.1, but I'm thinking that number came down.
I want to see.
Unless this is like an updated thing. I don't know.
No, that's including Tooney and Jonah Jackson.
Fuck. So they had well, I guess they did have a fuckload of space. That's right.
Yeah. So that's including Tooney and Jackson. So they still have a fuckload of space.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. I gotta believe they want to get someone on the edge.
Let's rewind a minute. They don't fucking need a wide receiver.
No, that's actually a good point. Yeah, Keenan Allen's probably out, right? But
Keenan Allen's probably out, but they still have DJ Moore and Rome Odunze.
yeah, so no, they're good at wide receiver. So let's yeah, no, you're right. Let's scratch that off. So let's just say center, offensive tackle, and edge. Or I'd put offensive tackle, edge, and then center.
Yep, that's as you were saying it. That's what I started thinking too.
But at offensive tackle, unless they wanted to go nuts for Stanley, I think the options are a little bit underwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree there.
You know, I don't see them going after Tyron Smith. He's at the end of his rope. Jedrick Wills is, I think, a great one that can play right or left tackle and a lot of value, but I don't know, man. Um, so I think that means edge is going to be the most likely splash for them. Sweat on sweat.
Yeah.
I mean, their pass rush was horrible last year. That would boost them. Sweat wants big money. You'd be pairing him up with Montez Sweat, which is kind of funny, but you know, it's just how it works sometimes, right? Um, you
Yeah,
know,
no, I can't argue it. Like when I look at it, like especially with the money that they have, like nobody's gonna go after fucking Hassan Reddick. Khalil Mack's getting
he's
really old.
probably going back to the Chargers, man.
Yeah. Kuntz, like, and they're not gonna sign Chase Young because they really had the option to trade for Sweat or Chase Young, and they traded for Sweat.
Yeah, I think they go after the other Sweat. I think they take
Yep.
Josh Sweat. You're getting a guy that's got a Super Bowl ring. You're pairing him up with your other Sweat, and you've got your two edge guys covered, man.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, do you think they go after a center or
They might,
or
man. I mean, I think, you know, if they're going center and they're thinking they want like a center for the long term, they'd be trying to make the move for Drew Dalman. And I know
yeah,
we've
that's
plugged him in somewhere else, but hey, we got a special guest. But I could see them trying to get him, you know. You know the
yeah,
way Ben Johnson likes that offensive line, how it was so solid in Detroit. Okay, we are back. And so, yeah, we plugged in Drew Dalman as a target. Would we look at a tackle just as an option?
So as I go through it, I don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't
these
know.
aren't like primo options. And so I'm just pulling up their lineups to see who they got. I mean, it's already got Tooney on here. Jeez, man, he's a 93. Um, Darnell Wright and Braxton Jones. Man,
But then, like, if you go with Darnell Wright or go with tackle, I think you're looking more at right tackle than left tackle.
I think they'd take either of them, to be honest. I could see them going after a tackle. And I could see them going after Cam Robinson, who just spent the year with Minnesota. But I don't know that they would want to put a ton into him, you know? So
Yeah.
it's just, they're drafting at 10. I don't know, man. Maybe they go like a Jedrick Wills and put him out at right tackle, and then they draft a guy and double down.
Possibly.
You know, and then that gives them the flexibility that if the rookie's not ready for left tackle, Wills can play it. I just am, you know, I'm envisioning them wanting to stack the line like Ben Johnson had with Detroit.
That makes sense. I could go with that. So you want to go with like Jedrick Wills,
Yeah,
or
let's
do you
put
want
him
to
in
go?
here. It's just a target. You know, we're just going to put him in here. And then that takes us to the Dallas Cowboys.
All All right, so the Cowboys have $54 million in cap space,
Jeez, man.
and they need a running back, offensive guard, defensive tackle, cornerback, and linebacker.
Yeah, I think everybody's expecting them to go after the Boise State guy in the draft, or maybe the North Carolina guy at running back. Um, I think offensive guard is the top need. I'm not saying running back's not a need, but I guess when I'm looking at it in terms of free
Well,
agency,
yeah, I'm sorry, I got confused for a second.
they re-signed the Osa dude, so defensive tackle, they got a guy. I think it's maybe more of an edge thing at that point. And then
I don't.
cornerback, you're looking at like a two
So I think
linebacker. I mean, all these are needs. It's just what's the right priority?
so. I think the need listed at defensive tackle was assuming
Yeah,
Osa
they
was
were
gone.
losing their guy. Yeah.
Let's see, who do they have?
I mean, I'd say center is a need.
Yeah, so I would say
Anything on the offensive line's a need, really.
so. Besides left tackle,
Yeah, that's fine. I would say anything you can, well, and they got Tyler Smith, right? But
yeah. So they need the left or the right side of their offensive line with Zach Martin, who retired,
yep.
and Terrence Steele.
So let's
I
say OL, and then what's the next priority? Edge, cornerback, running back. What are you thinking, man?
so I don't think edge is a priority at all with Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence.
I thought Demarcus Lawrence was a free agent.
Was he? Is my list wrong?
Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, he is.
He's a free agent. Okay.
He is a free agent.
And they've been talking about fucking trade Micah Parsons.
So I think that was bullshit.
Okay.
I just feel like that was bullshit. More and more I hear coming out of there is Micah Parsons talking about how the team's primed and this and that, and
Then linebackers in need.
linebackers. Yeah.
So I'll put offensive line, linebacker, and then
I'd put running back as number 3.
all right, let's put running back at 3.
It's 54 million.
They got a lot of options, man. They got a lot of options. Do they go Brandon Scherf, former Washington guy? Tevin Jenkins? Dan Moore? He wasn't great, but he was a starter for Pittsburgh. Same with
I would
James Daniels.
Okay, so they need to make a splash on the offensive line. Period.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, the splash would be at a tackle because you can do better drafting in the middle rounds to get a guy. And then that frees them up
Exactly.
to maybe get a running back in the first round.
Mm-hmm. I'm so hard pressed to believe that Ronnie Stanley is not going back to Baltimore, even though he wasn't tagged. So then you're looking at Cam Robinson, doubt it. Alaric Jackson, Dan Moore.
Alaric Jackson re-signed with the
Oh,
Rams.
that's right. He did. I just hadn't deleted him yet.
All right, so let's plug in Dan Moore. And then what can we do at linebacker? I would say was another one for them. Zach Bond's gone. Greenlaw. Oh my God, I'm sure they would love to get Greenlaw. Take him away from the 49ers. Nick Bolton is younger and more long-term upside in my opinion, but I could also see them liking Ernest Jones if they think he's a fit. Honestly, any of these linebackers. Well, Levante David re-signed. Bobby Wagner re-signed. Zach
I'm
Bond
going to say
obviously
somebody
re-signed.
that's not on our list.
Okay.
I'll spell it. Bosa.
Talking about Joey Bosa?
Yep.
Oh, bringing him in as an edge guy?
Bring him in as a linebacker.
Well, yeah, but he's a defensive end, so he'd be playing like
No, he's a linebacker.
because I know, but he's a rush only linebacker. He doesn't drop back in coverage like a traditional linebacker.
Right, but
He's a pass rusher.
yeah, and their pass rush sucked last year.
I know, but what I'm saying is he would be a defensive end for them. He was listed as a linebacker for the Chargers because whatever they ran a 3-4 for however many years or whatever, but he would be a defensive end, man. He'd be a down.
I hear ya. I hear ya. I hear ya.
And that's fine because if they're losing to Marcus Lawrence, I could see it. And Bosa's probably like in the 50s or something on the list now. So let's just put him in. Let's put him in. We'll just say edge, Joey motherfucking Bosa.
All right. Do you want to just rip the Band-Aid off, or do you want to finish with them?
Holy
shit.
Let's just rip the Band-Aid off, man. Why not?
All right. Then
but hang on. Before we rip the Band-Aid off, do you think Dallas would go after one of these running backs and pair him with a rookie? Maybe they go after a guy like fucking roll the dice on Nick Chubb and say, hey, whether you could get back to form or not, we're going to draft a rookie anyhow. Or maybe Aaron Jones, you're going to be in a committee. I see them desperate at running back, but.
Okay, so the way I see it is they're not going to sign Nick Chubb and hoping he can get back to form when they have Rico Dowdell, who.
He's a free agent, man.
Right, but they could re-sign Rico Dowdell and.
Yeah, but if Chubb got back to form, he puts Rico Dowdell to shame any day of the week.
True.
All right, let's just say they're drafting a guy and leave it at that. All right. That takes us to the Detroit Lions.
All right, team needs edge, cornerback, offensive guard, defensive tackle. How is wide receiver a need?
That's because Jameson is unreliable, and everybody else, I think, like Tim Patrick, Allen Robinson, those guys are all either gone or maybe Allen Robinson is still around, but just not good. Man, and we've got some cap space, but it'll go fast, right? So.
All right, so I'm going to say edge.
Right guard is a need.
Guard.
Yeah, edge number one for sure. Edge number one for sure.
And corner.
Yeah, in fact, I'd put cornerback above offensive guard.
Go with that.
Defensive tackle is kind of a need too, but that's, that's okay. Let's just let's do this for now. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. Yeah, edge, cornerback, offensive guard. I think those are the top three. And we've got the space. It'd be sweet if they traded for Myles Garrett, but they would have to. Well, here's the deal.
51 million in cap space.
I don't want to. The Myles Garrett thing. Actually, I'm a little bit sour on him. I would love it if they could pull off a trade for Trey Hendrickson from Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fucking badass, and he's got enough years left on him. You could pair him with Hutchinson and have, McNeil at tackle and be basically the best defensive line in the league. But they'd be spending like 40% of their cap space to do that. So, and Brad Holmes said at the combine that he wasn't going to do something like that, which could be smoke and mirrors. Man. Cornerback is an issue. Would they bring back Carlton Davis?
I would love it if they brought back Carlton Davis. I would absolutely love it if they brought back Carlton Davis.
I want something better. And I know Ward is behind him on the rankings, but I think Ward is better. But we could put Davis on there.
I still keep going to the edge, and
yeah, I mean for them, I think if they're going edge, man, I think they either make oh man, this guy I would like, Aziz Ojulari. He's young, he's still getting better.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably not like he's going to get paid, but you're not
breaking the bank for him.
You're not Trey Hendrickson breaking the bank. You're paying him, but you're paying him appropriately. That you're letting the world know that Hutchinson's still your guy. You're just giving him what should be a suitable running mate.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Let's plug him in. And you want to plug in Carlton Davis too?
Well, I hear you on Trevarius Ward. My issue is I think honestly, this is gonna sound weird. I think we might be able to get Davis a little cheaper than Ward.
So I guess my question is, did Ward miss any time last year? I don't think he did. Maybe he missed a few too.
I think he did.
Yeah, he missed some games.
He played.
Oh yeah, he missed like all of November.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like I want to say he missed 5 games.
Yeah, so both these guys are like injury risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for, let's see. They're both 28. I don't know why I thought Carlton Davis was older than that.
Really? They're both 28? Maybe has Davis been in the year longer?
Maybe. Well, I mean,
Let's see, so
there's the
was
familiarity
drafted.
with Carlton Davis. We know he plays man really well, which is what they like. I would plug him back in.
So Ward was drafted or undrafted in 2018. No, they came out same year too. Yeah, I would like Carlton Davis over Ward just because we know what we're getting,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah,
familiar with.
He's a fit for the scheme.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, if you were going to throw the dart on Mekhi Becton, this would be a spot to think about it because he's a great run blocker, and we're a run first team.
Which is so fucking odd to hear after so many years of being a pass first team. I'll slate him in.
Let's just put him in. I mean, it's the third guy here, and it's probably unlikely. I think they're probably going to go to the draft, but that's okay. We'll put him in here for now. Because Brad Holmes has just been so good at drafting guys, man.
Yeah.
But all right, so that takes us to the Packers.
Packers corner, edge, defensive tackle, center, wide receiver. I slate wide receiver or center as number one.
Where are they at with cap space?
They have 43 million almost.
Okay, 42.8. Their top three. They've been shopping Jair Alexander, I heard.
Yeah.
And then Eric Stokes is going to be a free agent, so cornerback is definitely a need.
Yeah. So the way I saw it on the list is center, number one.
You think center's number one?
Yeah. They don't have anybody.
Oh, well, and then cornerbacks. So center, cornerback, and then really from there, I know they got wide receiver low. I think what they do at wide receiver works for them. I don't know that they need to get like a flashy one or go crazy, but I could see defensive lineman being the next need.
Yeah, that's
Whether it's edge or defensive tackle.
exactly my thought on it.
Okay. They got some space. We've been plugging Dahlman into a couple spots. Let's plug in like Josh Myers or Ryan Kelly. Well, Josh Myers was their guy.
Yeah. So that's it. If that's what I was gonna say, if they don't go after Dahlman, then they're not going to go to Ryan Kelly. They're going to make a big push to re-sign Josh Myers.
Let's just put Josh Myers back in here.
At cornerback, so I'm torn between
any of them. Byron Murphy had a great year for Minnesota.
See,
DJ Reed had a good year with the Jets.
Those are the two that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm torn between those two.
Byron Murphy, take him away from the Vikings, man.
Yeah, I like that. I don't like that, but I like that.
Yeah. Sometimes teams like to do that shit, and then you get to like look up under the skirt of the other team. Hey, what kind of plays were they doing with this? What were they doing with that? Blah 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 blah. And then defensive line. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I think they'd be looking at like a defensive tackle kind of guy, but maybe Poona Ford. Although I think the Chargers are going to get him back. Jerron Reed maybe. In fact, I kind of like Jerron Reed as a pick for them.
Okay, I can give you. We can slate him in there.
Okay. Off to the Rams.
The Rams need offensive tackle. Let's just slate that in right away. They still haven't been able to replace Whitworth. Wide receiver, cornerback, linebacker, tight end.
I must have a fucking blind spot on my thing here. Where the hell are they with cap space?
They have almost $52 million in cap space.
Okay. So offensive tackle number one.
I think wide receiver.
Yeah, because Cooper Kupp is gone. And then probably cornerback, man.
Yep.
Okay. Simple enough.
All right. This is where I could see them making a push for Travarius Ward.
Let's put him on there.
I think they're going to need to, because both their tackles are probable free agents.
Well, they brought back Alaric Jackson.
Oh, they brought back Alaric Jackson. So they're going to look for the draft for the other tackle. I think.
Yeah.
I think they might go after Diggs.
It'd be an interesting one. I kind of like that. Let's put him in there. I think he could fit that Cooper Kupp kind of role, you know?
Exactly.
So Travarius Ward and Stephon Diggs. And then off to the Vikings.
Off to the Vikings. Vikings need cornerback, defensive tackle, running back, guard, safety.
Okay. And where are they at with their cap space?
They have
62
million in cap space. All right, so I was gonna say
a lot of teams with a lot of fucking cap space this year, man.
I think guard.
Man, are they really gonna roll the dice with JJ McCarthy? Or are they gonna try to re-sign Darnold?
What I'm hearing and what I've read is they're gonna make a push to re-sign Darnold as a stopgap in case McCarthy can't come back. But
I think you gotta put Darnold in here, man. Let me just put him in here as an option, and we'll look at other guys. But because quarterback's not listed, but so then you're at cornerback, defensive tackle, running back, guard, safety. Out of those options, cornerback is
guard, DB, and defensive tackle.
Okay.
I agree with you though that their target number one is Sam Darnold. Period.
OG, DB, DT, but we're plugging in Darnold just cause, and then let's just pick a guard and let's pick some secondary. I mean, we could pick anybody for these guys. They got so much fucking space.
So safety, I think Trayvon Moehrig be a good fit there.
Pairing him with Harrison Smith. Ooh, man, that'd be dangerous. Let's do it. What? Whoa. What about fucking Javon Holland, man? Does he have experience with Flores?
Oh, shit. Hold on. I hear you. Hold on. Spell his name. Jevon?
Yeah, Jevon, and then Holland, Holland.
Let me see. He was drafted in 21. And Flores was there. Yes, he has 1 year experience with Flores.
I would put him on.
Oh, yeah. I completely missed that.
But then I still think they need a cornerback, or I mean maybe a guard, whichever we think is going to be higher priority here. I think they draft a guard and they pick up a cornerback in free agency.
Yeah, so I was going to say DJ Reed.
Let's do it. Okay, boom, off to the Saints.
Off to the Saints. New Orleans needs a lot of shit that they can't afford.
Yeah, minus 39.5 million.
Edge, wide receiver, tight end, corner, defensive tackle. So
I mean, we'll take the guy's top three and just say they can't afford anything anyhow.
what did I say? Edge,
Wide receiver, tight end. Boom. You can't do shit. You can't pay for anybody. You guys
Good
fucked
luck
up your shit.
affording anything.
I mean, they really fucked up their shit. And it's been this way for fucking like 3 years, man. Oh, that's the thing that blows my mind. Is like, how do they keep fucking making it work, man?
All right. On to the Giants.
Yeah, they would love a quarterback, but they're going to draft one.
Theirs is fairly simple. Quarterback, offensive tackle, offensive guard, cornerback, safety. Quarterback, O-line, DB. You know, one thing I've heard a lot of rumors on is when Aaron Rodgers becomes a free agent, he's just going to go across the locker room to the Giants.
I mean, it could happen, right? Because the Raiders got their guy now.
Mm-hmm. And the Giants have 45 almost 45.5 million.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rodgers is running out of options. I know, I got to believe they're drafting a quarterback, man.
Well, I believe they're drafting a quarterback too, but
all right, so they got Andrew Thomas on the offensive line. Evan Neal kind of underperforming, but still hanging out there. Greg Van Roten, John Runyon, Jermaine Ulamore. Yeah, where do they go on the offensive line here? I mean, I would almost say if you're going to draft a quarterback, make the fucking play for Ronnie Stanley.
okay. Don't have to convince me with that.
You know, protect him, even if it's just for a couple years while you come up with your next plan, but don't draft a quarterback just to let him get fucking smoked.
Yeah, and then I think the next two would be DBs.
Okay.
I'd probably say I would go probably Trayvon Moehrig.
All right, so would you take him or would you maybe think about Justin Reed because he's got the Super Bowl experience, which they might covet? I mean, either one's fine. We can do Moehrig. Let's do Moehrig. That's fine. Okay. Want to do a cornerback for these guys too?
Yeah, and I was looking at it.
Go for the flash, Asante Samuel Jr. Get some picks. You might not win games, but he'll get some picks and keep it exciting.
Okay.
I mean, a shit team like the Giants, they think that way.
All right, then we're on to the Eagles.
All right, so they're showing 22.6. I'm guessing, since this was updated, I'm guessing that accounts for Saquon's extension.
I don't think Saquon's extension hits the cap this year.
Okay.
I take a look.
Edge, wide receiver, linebacker, guard, kicker. Why kicker? I thought they fucking loved homeboy.
Yeah, so Saquon, they signed Saquon to a 3-year deal initially. And so his extension does he only has a $7 million cap hit this year and a $10 million next year. And I just noticed something. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 void years on his extension.
Oh, jeez. Well, they're selling the future to get some rings now. So I think, the wide receiver thing maybe you put on here just because there's been a lot of the talk about problems with A.J. Brown.
Yeah, and that's what I think. Why I think they were putting it. But I think like edge, offensive guard, and linebacker. Bond.
No, they re-signed Zach Bond.
Yeah. And I think Zach Bond was their linebacker need.
Yeah, so I mean, if Sweat's gone, they definitely need help on the edge.
Yeah.
They could use another linebacker to go with Bond, but
So you want to do edge, wide receiver, linebacker?
no, let's do edge, offensive guard, wide receiver. I don't think linebackers is huge of a need compared to the other ones. And they got some space. They're not like breaking the bank. With that kind of space, where do they go? That's the question. I don't think any of these wide receivers really are in play for them. So we're looking at edge or guard. If they were going to spend all the money, they'd go after Sweat, but it sounds like he's going to be gone.
I got a funny one for you.
Oh, Hassan Reddick? I mean, he was good for them.
I was looking at Charles Omenihu and Nick Bolton.
Let's put Omenihu in there. No, let's put
Bolton as a linebacker. I just thought that was funny.
Sniping some KC guys, man.
I like Omenihu there.
Yeah, let's put Omenihu in there. That's kind of like a Howie Roseman savvy kind of move, man. I don't know that we should be plugging in more than that because he'll find something to like razzle dazzle that we're not expecting.
Yeah, I agree with you there. 49ers, where the fuck are they? Cornerback, defensive tackle, edge, linebacker, offensive guard.
Okay, 34.4 million in space. Hey, bring in the Bosa brothers.
Actually, really what I am hearing and what I'm reading is they're the favorite to sign Joey.
I've heard that too, but at what price is, I guess, what I want to know.
Yeah, so I think cornerback is going to be a huge need for them. They have 34.3 million. Both Travarius Ward and Yidam.
Yeah, let's put cornerback up there. I don't know. I think the offensive guard thing, Shanahan will find a guy in the draft.
Yeah,
He's good at doing that shit.
I was
Um,
thinking edge
so
and
then
linebacker.
defensive line linebacker. Let's just do that. And yeah, Bosa, fucking let's just put him in there. Joey Bosa, and then do they bring back? I, I would put Travarius Ward in here as they try to bring him back.
Okay.
He's been good for them, and they like him.
But I also so between the two, if
Yeah.
I were to bring back one guy, it'd be Dre Greenlaw, not Travarius Ward. If I was only able to afford one of them.
All right, let's put Drake Greenlaw then.
Because Dre Greenlaw, I keep going back to it. He's it was the heart of that defense.
All right, so then maybe a guy like Mike Jackson, low end cornerback signing. Or no, Jordan Lewis. Let's put him in. Boom.
All right, Seahawks, they need a quarterback.
Yeah, they need a quarterback now, that's for sure. All right, where the fuck is Seattle with cap space?
They have, and I have to verify because
32.4, depending on what happens with Geno.
Yeah, so all the cap hit is being, from what I read, and that 32.4.
Man, it's quarterback, wide receiver.
It's now 45.
Okay. And
No,
let's.
I'm sorry. It's now 63.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
They saved 31 million in cap space by trading Geno Smith. Holy shit! I'm just gonna put.
They've got a lot of needs, man. I quarterback. Let's put wide receiver because they got Jackson Smith and Jigba, but DK Metcalf is going to be gone.
Mm-hmm. O-line?
Yeah, just O-line. I mean, and they have a lot of holes on defense too, man, but they got to remake the offense now.
Okay, so I'm going to actually say wide receiver is not really a need for them.
Okay, so then quarterback,
because they may be trading Metcalf, but they still have Lockett and
No,
Jackson
Lockett
Smith.
got released.
He got released? When did that happen?
Just the other day.
I missed that. Well, fuck. Fuck. I missed that. Okay. I'm not going to argue you then. It was just in Jigba.
Yeah. Quarterback,
right.
wide receiver, offensive line, man.
Quarterback.
I mean, maybe McDonald wants to go after Ronnie Stanley. He knows him.
Okay.
I'm just not. I don't know. I mean, what?
See, I don't like any of the other positions that are available. I don't like any of these wide receivers going up there.
Yeah.
You're just getting a head case, and you get rid of if you get rid of Metcalf, and you're just bringing, or you're getting rid of head possible. You're getting rid of a truly good guy and bringing in a head case.
Yeah. Yeah, what is
Um,
McDonald trying to do, man? That's the thing is I'm trying to I just don't understand what he's trying to do with this team because it's like it seems like they're going the wrong way, man.
yeah, I don't know, and I really have problems like offensive line besides Ronnie Stanley. Like you could afford a Will Fries, but if you're trading your quarterback, that means you have a plan. You have you if you trading Geno Smith, that's indicating you have a plan at quarterback. So are you
Yeah, let's put in Will Fries just because we got to put someone in here.
like I
Who
think
else
they
can
have
we put in here? Yeah,
a plan at quarterback. I just
Jameis
can't see it.
motherfucking Winston. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Maybe they liked what they saw out of Howell in practice. I
It
don't
could be.
know.
It could be. All right, yeah, because none of these other quarterbacks have a connection that I'm aware of, unless they were bringing back Russ, which I doubt they would do. Um, all right, so other than quarterback in wide receiver, we put in Will Fries. Then we're looking at something on defense, linebacker or defensive tackle. Maybe he wants to bust the nut for Milton Williams, man.
I was gonna say he was gonna bust it up for Drake Greenlaw.
All right, we can put him on here. Let's put both of them on here.
Where's Milton Williams? Where the fuck are you, motherfucker? Why am I not finding Milton Williams?
He's the top defensive tackle.
Oh, because I deleted whoever was after him, so it was throwing me off.
Gotcha.
All right, then we go to the Buccaneers of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, they're not working with much.
Wide receiver, guard, linebacker, edge, offensive tackle. Offensive line,
What?
edge,
Yeah, whatever it is, it's going to be value. But yeah, let's say offensive line,
edge, linebacker.
edge. Now they brought back Levante David. Let's do wide receiver because Godwin's a free agent, and Mike Evans is just about done. And in either way, with any of these, I don't know who they could sign, man.
So this is what my thought on it was. Find a way to re-sign Godwin.
Yeah, that actually is probably just make that be the one move and then go to the draft.
Yeah. Find a way to re-sign Godwin and fill in the draft.
Yeah, because honestly, they were good. Fucking Baker had a fucking career goddamn year, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, keep him with his weapons. The offensive line was actually pretty good last year. It was better than the last year with Brady. Um, and you can draft a guard. Like I like that plan, man. Find a way, restructure some shit, and bring back Godwin.
And then that gives us to the Commanders, who have 81 million in cap space.
It's fucking nuts.
As good as that team was last year, how the fuck do you have 81 million in cap space?
Rookie quarterback. Well, no, second year quarterback, but they had a lot of guys that were on 1 year deals last year, from
Yeah.
what I heard.
Okay, so I'm gonna check off wide receiver as a need.
Yeah,
They
fuck
don't need a
that.
wide receiver.
Yep.
Edge, offensive tackle, linebacker, cornerback.
It's a Dan Quinn team. So
Edge.
edge, I'd go edge cornerback. And then let's just look at the offensive line because man, they did all right last year.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to look at, see if where they could upgrade on the offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, tackle probably it would be good to get a tackle in there, especially if they're going to have Jaden Daniels do more passing this year.
Okay.
So we're talking edge, cornerback, offensive tackle, top three.
80 million, they could break the bank.
Yeah, they're not going Hassan Reddick. Maybe they try to get Josh Sweat.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that one.
Bring back Chase Young.
DJ Reed.
Yeah, and I would say maybe even Jordan Lewis because of the familiarity with Dan Quinn, but he's not a one. You know, he's great cornerback depth. Is Marshawn Latimer gone, or is he still there? So if he's
Um,
still there, I would say Jordan Lewis. Man, they kind of need a safety too.
Marshawn Lattimore's still there.
Yeah, so I'd say Jordan Lewis would be a
Yep.
perfect fit because the coach connection.
Okay.
Um, I think you're looking safety or offensive tackle at that point.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, do they go after Stanley if he's available?
I don't know. Maybe.
It's
Maybe
not
they
that
do a
far.
1 year rental on Tyron Smith. You know, he did play with Dan Quinn, but he's like really getting up there now.
Yeah, I'd rather them go with safety.
Okay.
Just because I don't think we've put him in many spots and I really like him. Trayvon Morik.
Okay. Let's do it. Yeah, I man, you could go a lot of different directions at safety, to be
Yeah.
honest. Hufanga's kind of like that hybrid safety. Bynum had a great year with Minnesota. Reed's got like the championship experience. I could see him going anywhere. But yeah, we'll put Morrig in there, and that gets us through our NFC free agency matchmaking.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and so no question of the week. I guess that just takes us to any closing questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, yada, yada, yada.
No, nothing. I think that's it.
All right. Well, hey, my man, like always, it was a good time. Anybody who's watching, this was a quicker show, but maybe not. Still probably hour 20, hour 30. But either way, we hope you liked it and hit the subscribe, thumbs up, like all that action. Tell your friends, family, your priest, whatever you got to do. So, James, I'll catch you later, my man.
All right, sounds good. Have a good one.
Gridiron Grinder. Hut hut hike.